Is that okay, Carole?
Yes.
Carole Gosche prepares for another day.
This other foot.
Thinking about what was in the past is a bit painful, and thinking about what might be in the future can also sort of throw up some fears. So you live day by day and just make sure that things are pretty settled and you can be as happy as possible.
It's now 7 years since Carole experienced a sudden and massive brain aneurysm that changed her life forever.
Right. Now we've got that one on. Shall we put some earrings on you, Carole?
Yes.
It's been 4 years since Attitude visited Carole and her husband, former MP, Mark Gosche.
I think that's one of the most unsettling things about Carole's disability, is that there's just no surety about the future. And I don't know, and she doesn't know what the future holds in terms of her physical health.
There we go.
I'd have thought Mark's position as a Member of Parliament meant they were in an ideal position to access all available services for Carole in the early years following her brain bleed. Instead, they faced the same long process and frustrations many others have experienced.
Now, Carole, Grant's here. Been a while since we've seen him, eh?
Yeah.
He's looking forward to seeing you and hearing you, because last time he came, remember you had to nod and shake your head.
Yeah.
Since we last met, Carole's condition has become more stable, and there's been a significant breakthrough.
Good, mate.
Speech therapy has helped Carole to communicate a small range of words.
It is
Something doctors thought might never happen.
Cool to see. 4 years.
Yes.
Oh. Well, you look more beautiful, and your response will be, I look more handsome, or?
No.
So you look more.
Oh, don't.
It's incredible just to hear you talking. It's fantastic.
Yes.
Your singing's not so good as it used to be, but you still do it, eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
During this time, they've also had to deal with the sudden death of their son Christian.
Progress has been made.
Speech became vital to help Carole express her loss.
Well, the good change really came from having some speech-language therapy, which is very hard, as you know, to get. And that brought about, just by chance, the opportunity for Carole to speak. And we'd been working on all sorts of other communication techniques, and none of them had worked. So the big change was getting some speech-language therapy and enabling Carole to communicate in a way that she hadn't been able to be able to verbalise, and even sometimes when it's anger, must be for her a major step forward because of the ability to tell us, at least in a limited way, how she's feeling, what she wants, what she needs.
If we're going to listen to some music, and I'm the one that's got to get it out,
Yes.
right, that's going to test you. So
Carole had not one, but 2 brain hemorrhages. She lost her speech instantly.
Thank you means
She wasn't expected to live.
yes.
Up until that time, Mark and Carole had led lives that were crazy busy. She supported Mark fully in his political life and in their local Mount Wellington community. A talented singer, she's still passionate about music.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I'll pick Sheryl Crow. I like Sheryl Crow because she's top shelf, and I think I can probably get that, so we'll just have a wee look here.
Last election, Mark retired from politics. He's now adjusting to a new pace of life. For the 3 years Carole was in residential care, Mark juggled hospital visits with work and family responsibilities, not always successfully.
Oh, it's so much better having her at home and not having to worry about the care that she's getting in hospitals. And in the first year or two, keeping your patients was very hard, and it got to a point where I was getting very angry and losing control and really wound up, and it wasn't doing me any good and it wasn't doing Carole any good. And so the one big thing I've learned is actually to be able to, chill out, find ways of relaxing, get away. I didn't have a holiday for 5 years. That was a big mistake because it just builds up too much pressure. So it's that ability to control my own feelings when Carole can be very trying, and live with it and find ways of controlling it. I think that's my biggest element of learning in this last 4 years.
Your advice to others?
I think to try and keep life as close to what it used to be as possible, and that can be extraordinarily difficult, and so you adapt. But you do have to try and have a life outside of home and disability and all of the constraints that brings upon us. If you don't do that, then you're going to get into a bit of trouble, and certainly we've been through that, where I think you become too inward looking. So sometimes you feel you have to be selfish as a partner or a caregiver, and get out and do the things that you need to do to keep yourself sane. So that's the biggest advice I would give, is to try and as much as possible keep the normal things in life ticking over: work, socialising, sport, holidays, because too often we let those things slip, and they impact upon you very badly in an emotional sense if you do that.
Carole, is home the best place to be?
Yes.
Now that Mark's not away all the time, what's that like, having him home?
Okay. Okay.
Do you think you can make the same level of improvement going forward?
Okay.
Yeah? Are you getting the help that you need?
Yes.
Is it good talking to Yvonne?
Yes.
Does she help you with your speech a lot?
Yes. Okay.
Is there anything you'd like to talk about, Carole?
I think so.
Yeah, what sort of things? It's hard to think, eh? Yeah.
Oh, we're both in the same boat there.
Shall I ask you a few questions, and then if we get one that we get some good answers, then Grant can ask the question.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
I reckon you're doing really well, you know.
Don't.
Yeah.
I can.
So, I guess looking back in the last 4 years,
Yes.
do you feel like you've made some progress?
I think so. I think so. I think so.
I think you have. Last time, you weren't saying any words at all, and that's massive.
You're still frustrated, aren't you, Carole, with the slowness of your progress, and that's something that you were telling Yvonne last week?
I think so.
Do you think it can be rushed, though? Is it something that's just going to take time, do you think, Carole?
I think so.
But I still think that Carole is having a massive battle with what she has to cope with, and who wouldn't, because she is just so dependent on others. And for somebody of her level of independence and energy in the past, I don't know whether it's something that anybody learns to cope with, but they have to.
What sort of day have you had, Carole? Has it been good?
Yes.
One of the
lovely
saddest
yesterday,
aspects of Carole's disability is that she's lost contact with many friends. But then there are true loyal friends like Kathy, who's made regular visits for the past 7 years.
It's sadly the reality of life for people with disability who can't lead the life they used to, working, getting out and about socially, that so many of your friends drift away. And I think that's one of Carole's biggest sadnesses that she's expressed, is the loss of contact with a lot of good friends. But the people who do keep regular contact are gems, and they're a huge part of our life and keep us going because of the loving support they give.
These days, Mark and Carole's grandson, Isaiah, is living with them. He's never known Carole without a disability and happily ropes her into the afternoon homework sessions.
At the end of the day, she's still my wife and the mother of our children, and a friend to a lot of people. And inside, you know that the person that you love and the friend that you have, or the mum, is still there. The fact that she can't physically express herself in the way in which she used to is a loss, but she still fills a big part of our family, and that's hugely important for a family when they're under stress and need each other to cope with life's trials and tribulations.